I were to say to you, an Irish monk discovered North America almost 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus, would you believe me? Oh yes. Saint Brendan the Navigator from Tralee, my homeland in County Kerry, Ireland, potentially discovered the Americas before Christopher Columbus in 1492. The mainstream story of Christopher Columbus is well known to us all around the world. Even here in Ireland, in the main history books, they state that Christopher Columbus discovered Central America before anybody else. The reality is, there's evidence from much earlier discoverers and explorers, well before Christopher Columbus. There was Viking settlements discovered in 1000 up in the Canada region. It is known that the Vikings would have travelled from Scandinavia to Iceland to Greenland and up into Newfoundland. The reality of St. Brendan's voyage would have taken a very similar course, and some say that St. Brendan paved the way for these later explorers. In the 9th century, there was a book written recording the journey of St. Brendan from Ireland up to Iceland, Greenland, and over to the Labrador region of North America. This was called the Navigatio Sancti Brendani, the Travels of St. Brendan. It was written in Latin. It became almost a fabled account, almost a mythical journey. When St. Brendan took the journey in the 6th century, it was 300 years afterwards that it was written. So in those times, the oral tradition, when recorded into writing, was often written in a fantastical version where things have been added on, but the kernels of truth within the story are there. Petroglyphs in West Virginia and other places date back to potentially the 5th, 6th and 7th century. Some people would have thought them to be early runic writing, and there was professors and doctors that would have classed them as Ogham alphabet writing. So this is an ancient Celtic Gaelic writing that was written, used by the Irish. In fact, very similar carvings were founded in Kerry and other places in Ireland and were compared to these findings in West Virginia, and almost identical. This was rocking the whole entire academic realm, and there was a massive backlash over this because the mainstream narrative and mainstream science and mainstream academics pretty much do not want the status quo to be overturned. These findings and their methods were chastised and thrown out. We have the evidence of potential Ogham writing in the Americas. We have the Viking settlements also in the Americas, and the mythical story of Brendan the Voyager reaching the Americas. But not only that, we also have Viking sagas that include the Irish. An explorer in the 1970s called Tim Severin, and he recreated this boat in the 1970s to his exact specifications given in this book, and went and did the journey and did the voyage and was successful and landed in Newfoundland after a certain amount of time. He also would have talked about the journey, equating it to the mythical parts of St. Brendan's book. The ocean near the lands that he was going to, like Iceland and Greenland, having a massive amount of whales coming really near the boat, the communion on the boat. Also the island of the birds and fire, this would have talked about Iceland and Greenland, and also the Faroe Islands. So there was all these little indications from the mythical story that Tim Severin could equate to his real life experience when he was trying to replicate this Brendan voyage. So there's a bunch of stuff going on here that can lend to the very fact that an Irish monk potentially discovered the Americas almost 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus. And it wasn't just any Irish monk, it was a monk from Tralee, my homeland in County Kerry.